never believe a woman's story in her marriage.
Oh, wow.
I cannot tell you the amount of times that I have gotten sucked into a woman's story because we are so convincing. We are so manipulative.
Female dating coaches finally snap after realizing women are the problem. Like the video, subscribe, stay on the path of progress. Let's get into it.
I should be shocked, but I'm not shocked how many single women are online asking groups of women where to meet eligible single men. It makes me crazy because I coach them, I work with them, I'm trying women, I am trying to bring these single men out to you, but most of them are too shy and they don't know how to approach you, so I'm trying. Just hang on 5 more seconds, and if you are a single man and you're also looking to meet these women who are dying to meet you, please reach out right now and let me help connect.
Honestly, I think most people that are going to like a matchmaker like this are probably not the people you want to be matched with to begin with, especially for the women, because I can only imagine it's probably just a bunch of like 35 plus, can't find a man, have no other options, so they go here just looking for something. But I know a lot of female dating coaches, they say that women's standards are just so ridiculously high, so even when she pairs them with a guy that's decent, she still just doesn't want him because her standards are through the roof. And on top of that, there's the financial incentive. The person is coming to this woman for a service. You say, okay, I'm gonna pay you, I don't know how much that stuff would cost, maybe $1,000, a couple grand or something. And she says, okay, I'll pay you $2,000. I just need you to find me a man. So it already spikes the expectations even higher because now you're financially invested into it.
Some of you women are so unreasonable. All these groups that people think are secret, that are 100% not secret, that you're posting all your shit your man in there for, you gotta quit, you gotta quit. You're making us all normal folk look crazy. I saw a woman in there today. She literally made a post that said, I asked him for a selfie and he sent me a shirtless gym selfie and I'm looking for a husband and that doesn't seem like husband material for me. What would you guys do? I think I'm gonna block him. And half the women responded that they would block him. What in the mental health are we doing? You are the problem. You are what is making us normal folk look crazy. What do you mean it's a red flag you sent you a shirtless gym selfie? The red flag ain't the hearts around your faces or the halo or the fact you've been married 3 times. Oh, back child support. That ain't a problem. I mean, what in the Temu dating app are we doing here? This is insane. Look, I'm all right with some high standards now, but don't keep moving the goalpost. I mean, you want to clear a track, man? Go find him on Temu, because that's all you're gonna get. Girls, do better.
Friendly fire. We got friendly fire. See, now you can't call me misogyny because this is coming from your own. This is friendly fire right here. I didn't even say anything. It's in her words. So she asks, hey, can you send me a selfie? The guy sends her a selfie. The girl, ew. What? He did what I asked him to do? Yikes.
Tell me why I get so mad when an ugly man approaches me or tries to hit on me. Like, the audacity, like, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
I have never understood this mindset. It just seems so unnecessarily rude and arrogant to get angry at a man for approaching you because you find him unattractive. Like, he didn't actually do anything disrespectful to you. You just don't like his face. Personally, when a man approaches me, I feel flattered, and I also feel impressed that he had the courage to do so because I'm awkward and I probably wouldn't, regardless of what he looks like. And you don't have to accept every romantic advancement, but this type of attitude just grosses me out. And a man approaching you isn't inherently weird or creepy unless he actually says or does something disrespectful or weird. In fact, approaching and taking that calculated risk is just how a lot of people meet.
Why some women get insulted when they get approached by some guys is because she perceives her value as significantly higher than whoever is approaching her. So that's why she basically takes it as an insult. She's thinking like, oh wow, you really think that you can get with a woman like me? Don't you know I'm a 10 out of 10 boss queen babe? And that's basically what it is. I'm not saying it's cool, I'm just saying that's the way it is.
This video is for the ladies who make fun of the men who approach them. You guys are ruining dating for the rest of the single women out there. If a guy approaches you and for whatever reason you're not interested, you should not be hopping on social media to make fun of the dude or blast him in any way. It is irresponsible, immature, and childish. And most of all, it just makes you look stupid and bitter. As a dating coach for men, I see just how many men are no longer interested in approaching women because they're terrified of being put on blast on social. This should not be a fear of theirs, though it is a valid fear. If a guy approaches you and you're not interested, simply let him down easily and kindly and move on with your life. Because there are a ton of amazing single women out there who would just die to be approached by any one of these guys.
That is pretty wild, isn't it? Not only do you reject the guy, but then you put him on blast on social media. Absolutely wild behavior. I think it's really just more for attention, honestly. Like, she just wants to show off, hey, look, a guy approached me because I'm just so attractive, and I rejected him because I'm better than him. But in some situations, like if the woman is in a relationship, you know, she's married, long-term girlfriend, whatever, I think being a little bit harsh is totally okay. Y'all might not like me saying that, but it is what it is, because she's under another man's authority, so other men should accept that. If she's in a relationship, it can just be no thanks, bye, or just flat out ignore. It doesn't really matter. But women will just flat out reject you, ignore you, put you on blast regardless of their situation, and it just is what it is, man. That's the world we live in.
So I was talking to a male friend of mine the other day, and he told me that women don't apologize and women can't be held accountable. And I began to really think deeply about this idea. And one of the things that came across my mind is, in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came in as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship, they became very defensive and very, just very harsh, and they stopped coming. Wow. And even though the husband would continue to come, he made it very clear that, she won't apologize. She thinks you're wrong. She thinks you're taking my side. And I began to really reflect, like, oh my gosh, is it true that women don't apologize? Is it that women struggle with being held accountable? I'd love your thoughts on this. Me personally, I think it has to do with a person's level of emotional maturity. What do you think?
This is a very interesting insight from this woman, because again, this is coming from a fellow woman. This is friendly fire going on right now. I think this could also be a reason why so many therapists tend to lean in the woman's favor, because if they don't lean in the woman's favor, she knows that she's just going to quit, and then the therapist is going to be out of a client. So it's so much easier to just put all the blame on the man, say, man, you have to do all of this work. You're not putting the toilet seat down. You're not cleaning the house enough. This is your fault, man. And the girl is sitting there like, yeah, it is your fault. I'm perfect. Because they know if they heavily criticize the woman, she's literally just gonna rage quit.
I have been trained, very strongly trained by my mentor, to never believe a woman's story in her marriage.
Oh, wow.
I cannot tell you the amount of times that I have gotten sucked into a woman's story because we are so convincing. We are so manipulative. We know how to dramatize and exaggerate the circumstances and experiences in the marriage to suck someone in, to feel sorry for us, to validate us in our victim story, and have even really no awareness to question that story from a woman and try to understand, well, what would the husband say, or what's his experience, though? What's his side of the story? And we bring that into therapy. So like I said, I can't tell you how many times over 10 years that I got sucked into a woman's story, and my mentor had to help me break through my cognitive dissonance and get back to the fundamental truth that I know. I've gotten so much better. It's very rare that happens now, but it can still happen. Because we are so convincing. It's just like, it would almost be blasphemy to not believe some of the things a woman says. And oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Maybe he's not a good man. We are so convincing. And I've also had the pleasure over the years where I've worked with a woman. She has a strong story of her husband and how he can be aggressive or controlling and a narcissist, and she paints this story, and then I've had the pleasure to actually meet her husband, because she's tried to, we always want our husbands to change, so it's interesting. Women will convince their husbands to take my men's course, which is interesting because of what I teach men in that course, which is about all our woman ways and how men have to take their power back. But I've met these husbands, and I meet them, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she has this story of this man, because they're the typical good man, just loves their wife, is caring, is confused about how they're always wrong and can't be right. And when I meet the husband, it doesn't add up at all with the woman's story of him. So therapists are not trained to break through the stories of a woman. And because they're already biased, they already have that gender bias.
Exactly what I was just saying.
To believe and take on the perceptions of the woman and have that prejudice towards men, they get sucked in. And here's the thing, is that the very same tactics we use as women in a marriage to manipulate our husbands and brainwash them to believe they are the problem are the same manipulative tactics that we use to draw a therapist into our story and get the therapist on our side. We're using the same tactics, and then the therapist gets brainwashed into believing the man is the problem. I've had several female clients over the years who very quickly trusted me because I didn't buy into their stories, and I called them out on it. I have one client in particular, I will never forget my first conversation with her. She reached out to me. She had this big story about her husband. He never pays me any attention. He doesn't validate me. He doesn't even compliment me ever. He never even says, I love you. And she had this whole story, but she was also sharing, but I know I have these behaviors and this is how I show up. And this is a very high powered woman with a very successful business. And she gets done telling her story. And I knew I had to be totally direct with her to gain her trust, to gain her respect. And I told her point blank, the problem is your husband is terrified of you because you are such, pardon my language, because you are such a
Whoa.
And I didn't mean it mean. I didn't mean it judgmentally.
All
I was
right,
just
lady.
telling it to her straight. And also knowing the own experience of myself as a woman and the women that I had worked with.
All right.
And her jaw dropped open. And I didn't know what was going to come out next. But she just looked at me and she said,
I do feel like that's actually a pretty rare reaction, because I'd be willing to bet the majority of the time the women do not take that well. But it's interesting how she basically just confirmed everything that I just said. The woman gets the therapist on her side, feeling bad for her, blaming the guy, and now it's a 2 versus 1 situation. And the thing you have to understand is, this is with any story, just flat out period, okay? Whenever someone is telling you a story about what they're doing or what someone did to them, you have to understand that most people are going to paint themselves in a good light, in the best light possible most times. So you can never fully understand the story unless you get both sides, okay? And that's a thing you hardly ever hear. You hardly ever hear men's voice.
Potential hot take, but can boys stop responding so fast, please? It's such an ick to me.
Okay, boys, write this down. It's icky to reply too fast.
Are they a slow texter, or are they just not that into you?
Oh, wait. Okay, no, do reply faster or else they'll think you're not into her. My bad.
Here's a PSA for all the single ladies. If a guy texts you back right away, or if he's messaging you nonstop all day, probably seems really flattering, right? But it's not. It means he has nothing else better to do.
Wait, shit. Okay, don't reply. They hate it. Okay, wait. Do reply as fast as you can.
Girl brain is if you text him and he texts you back right away, ick.
Maybe don't respond that fast? I don't know anymore. It appears your life is in danger no matter what. I'm so sorry.
This stuff is just so ridiculous, dude. So much brain power is put into dumb shit. There's always this whole game going on about, oh, well, if she waited an hour to text me, then I should wait an hour to text her back so she knows that I'm not, like, waiting on my phone. So what is that actually doing? You are feigning that you are actually busy and actually doing something. You are basically pretending to have an interesting, cool life. So here's a novel idea. How about you just get back, when you can. And on top of that, actually just live that interesting, cool life where you're busy working or doing fun stuff. If you're on your phone and she texts you, okay, send her a text right back. And then on the flip side, if you're not on your phone for hours on end, okay, then she doesn't get a text for 3 hours. It's so much just fakeness, dude.
I was discussing with a man and I mentioned, I was like, yeah, men have no business being on social media. Like, it's okay if you delete yours. And he proceeded to say, but then you wouldn't be able to receive any story likes from me. And he stumped me. I don't know what I want anymore. I literally don't. I'm like, oh, true. And those keep me going. So I don't really know what to believe anymore.
So the whole reason she wants men to be on social media is so she can farm likes and attention from guys. That's essentially what she just said. Girlfriends and wives do not have social media. That's what it is. And if they do have it, it is super low-key, super low-key, posting like inspirational quotes to 50 followers, that kind of stuff.
I had an honest question.
Okay.
And I think it's best that I just come to the men of TikTok and maybe the women too to shine their light on this topic. But
don't worry, the YouTube bros have the real
when
advice.
a man pursues a woman and he's interested in her and he expresses that interest and the communication is great, right? Like for the first day, let's just first day scenario, okay? And then you give him your number because he asks you, you know, what's the best way to keep in contact, XYZ. But then the communication disappears. He doesn't actually text you, but he stays steady watching your social medias, your posts, your stories, but doesn't send a text message. So as a woman, we look at that as, because it's not a man taking initiative, I personally look at it as a move. Number two, it's like, are we already starting games? And number three, it's not attractive. A woman wants a man who is going to take that initiative and approach her. So somebody please explain this behavior. Because when I see that, for me personally in my dating life, I'm not even going to entertain it. You already removed yourself without even getting the chance or the opportunity to even actually message me. Because I don't take you seriously. I've dealt with this energy from men before who just watch my stories but like don't text me back. And there's been ones that have been, you know, like first day basis, which honestly just happened yesterday. And then there's ones that have been here for a while that do the same thing. And a man that wants you is going to show that initiative and that action. And as a divine woman, as an emotionally intelligent woman, we watch actions. Actions speak louder than your words. And so if that is the behavior that you start doing, I personally am removing it on the spot, because universal energy, speaking to God, I'm like, my future husband wouldn't do that. He's going to send that text, introduce himself, and make sure that I know that I have his number. Not creep on my stories. And if you're creeping on my stories to try to do more research to like get to know me, you said you loved my content and reached out to me in the first place. So you had plenty of creeping to do.
So as a divine masculine, I can answer this question thoroughly. The good men look for mutual interest. A lot of guys put in a lot without receiving anything in return. So look at, what are your actions? Are you showing interest in him? Are you asking him questions? Or is he doing 100% of the communicating? This is why a lot of women just end up getting ghosted too. Men are just sick and tired of putting in all of the effort. And I understand that some women just want the man to make all of the moves. Like, it's totally understandable. But at the same time, are you making your interest in him obvious? Are you trying to keep up with communication, trying to learn more about him? I don't know you. You have to answer this question for yourself. That's just one of many potential reasons, so leave a comment below of what you think.
Ooh, I have a hot opinion on this one. Girls do not get the ick from guys who are nice. Girls get the ick from guys when they're on a date and they are feeding them feminine energy. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Nice does not equal feminine. However, women oftentimes get confused between feeling that he's a nice guy and then saying, I'm just not attracted to nice guys, when really it's the feminine energy she felt from him in that date that didn't create enough polarity to enhance an attraction. Therefore, she leaves the date and she says, oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't like nice guys. It's like, it's not that he was nice. Nice is never a problem. Nice is never a bad thing. Being a kind person is not a bad thing. Like a man who's chivalrous and takes care of you and emotionally available, that is not what you're picking up on, and that's not what you're inherently unattracted to. So often you leave that date thinking, what was wrong? Like, he was so kind, like, I'm just not attracted to him, because you picked up on the feminine energy that he was leading with instead of his masculine energy. So stop reinforcing the belief that women just aren't attracted to nice guys, because that's not it. It's the feminine essence that he led with in that date or in that experience that then she walked away with thinking like, wait, was that nice? Like, is it the niceness that I'm not attracted?
Okay, let's give her a little bit of credit because she's kind of correct. The whole thing saying that nice guys finish last, it's more the archetype of the nice guy. It's not that you are being kind to her. You are a pushover. You do not have a backbone. You do not have any standards. You don't set boundaries. You don't put her in her place. She doesn't feel like a woman around you. She sees you as the woman around her. And the thing with nice guys, they think that just being nice is enough, okay? They said, oh, your hair looks so nice today. Wow, I love your outfit. That looks so good on you. And then you just rattle off compliment, compliment, compliment. Nothing but trying to spike this like happiness emotion, okay? Now this doesn't mean that you can't compliment them. It's more that you need this entire emotional spectrum bouncing up and down. Happy, sad, angry, excited. It's much more so about spiking those emotions. She doesn't feel anything from you other than your feminine energy, the way she put it. So something actionable that nice guys can do, okay? If you do kind of consider yourself this nice guy, you're afraid to put boundaries on them, you're very complimentary, you don't call her out on her BS, here's just one thing you can do to practice not being this like terminal nice guy. The next few times you're interacting with women, don't compliment them. Don't just kiss ass. Find basically anything else to talk about. Because I guarantee you, if she is a semi-attractive woman, she has heard all of the compliments in the book 100 times. Withhold your validation. Just give that a shot.
So many men in my comments have commented this exact thing. Don't get married as a solution to divorce. This is a cop-out. Before giving up, before you even start, you should focus on cultivating your relationship and working together. You can look for solution-based approaches to help your relationship and also seek couples therapy to attack the issues at hand and fight for a happy life. Marriage and love is a choice. And if you make this choice, you're going to have to work at your relationship every day, but it will be so much more rewarding than just giving up and not experiencing it at all.
Honestly, I think most people are not prepared for something super long-term like a marriage. Most people are not marriage quality. They're really not. This is men and women. They don't have any of the skills to really foster that long-term relationship. They're not able to have those difficult conversations about what they want the future to look like. They're not able to sit down with your woman or with your man and have uncomfortable discussions about what do you want? How many kids do you want? What does your ideal lifestyle every day look like? Are you willing to follow my lead? Will you put me above the children? Asking these difficult questions, they can potentially break up your entire relationship. They can, because if there's a disagreement there, it should be shut down. But a lot of people can't even have these conversations, but they're still getting married because, oh, we like the same TV shows, and we like the same music, and I don't know if you knew this, but she actually touched my pee-pee, so this is pretty cool, and I'm gonna put a ring on it. So many people put basically zero thought into actually getting married. And you know the whole marriage stat that 50% of them end in divorce? I'm honestly just not surprised, because truly there are just a lot of incompetent people in relationships. They don't know how to deal with a significant other. They don't know how to regulate their own emotions. They can't talk through things. It's really just no wonder that marriage doesn't work for the majority of people.
I'll give you a tip. Date guys that you have no interest in at first. Practice with guys you wouldn't even be interested in at all. Just so there's no pressure. Because women, we want to be the chooser, not the chaser. And when you don't have attachment to anything, then you come off as very confident. That's very sexy and attractive to a man. And you'll get in the habit of being I'm the chooser. Like, I don't even want you. Show me why I should want you. And you just start with like low level guys that you wouldn't date. And then you do that like 10 times. When a guy comes that you're interested in and you notice, you're like, oh my God, you get a needy. And like, no, if I did it with all these guys, they're no different. This guy's no different. You managed it with them, you can manage it with him.
So one, women love chasing a guy that they can't get. They absolutely love it because they're used to it always being the other way around, where the men are chasing them. And this advice that she's saying, by the way, the don't get with someone that you don't immediately find attractive. What does she actually mean by that? She means go for the beta. That's what that means. Go for the guy that's like not that attractive. He's not the tall Chad that you're used to. He makes pretty good money, so you can get that out of him. And he's kind of just a funny, quirky, nice guy. And I know you don't find him attractive at all, but just give him a chance. But for women to go after that guy, the more beta type dude, so let's just be 100% real. This woman's entire audience is probably 35-plus-year-old women, 30-year-olds, something like that. And a lot of these women probably dated all the Chads. They dated all the bad boys in their 20s, okay? So now this dating coach has to say, hey, actually, maybe don't go for the bad guys. Try a beta. That will work out better. But then they get into the relationship. She's miserable because she's alpha widowed from her 20s. She inevitably cheats on her beta. They get divorced and blah, blah, blah. Life goes on. This is how it works.
Why is it that you can get the attention of like what feels like every man on planet except the guy that you want the attention from? What else do I need to do?
She really is trying, huh? And she's trying real hard to get that attention, huh? See, this woman confirms exactly what I was just talking about. She doesn't go for the guys that go for her. She wants to chase you. She wants to chase the guys that she wants. And haven't you guys noticed a huge theme throughout basically all of the videos that we watch is that you can tell women are almost always only talking about the top percentile of men. Have you noticed that? Oh, I just want a guy that shows interest. I just want a guy that puts in effort. I just want a guy that'll text me back and not ghost me. You guys know, and I know, that most guys are good guys. They are. Most guys do not do that. You want to know the only guys that have this type of behavior up here? It's the top 20%, top 10%, top 5% guys. All of the content that I've made just confirms hypergamy. That's what it is. Have you guys noticed that? That's it for today's video. Like the video, subscribe, stay on the path of progress. I'll see you later.
I have been so hesitant to post about this for two reasons. Number one, I don't like negativity and I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news. Number two, I didn't want to believe it. But after doing so much research and getting a lot of messages, I'm going to just deliver the unvarnished truth to you guys. I'm just going to lay it out straight. We're in a dating crisis. Not basically, we are. That's what's happening. So let me look at my research here because I don't want to mess it up. So men looking for casual dates and our relationships is down 50%. 50 since 2019. Not since 1970, since 2019, right before the pandemic. Down 50%. They're not looking, which means if you're a woman looking, they don't give a shit. So as this trend continues, by 2040, 45% of women, 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single and childless.
By 2030. I mean, yeah, man, this is exactly what my entire channel is all about, basically. Understanding the modern dating problems, why people are struggling with it so much. And I'd be willing to bet now in 2025, the numbers have probably skyrocketed even more. I think there are tons and tons and tons of men that are not interested in dating, basically, period, now. And you guys know the reasons why so many men have given up on dating. So there's no real reason for me to get into it right now, but it's just interesting now seeing how many women are talking about this stuff. The thing is, man, a lot of American women, a lot of just Western women in general, say you're from the United Kingdom or a lot of European countries as well, a lot of these women are not marriage material. They're just not. They're now these modern women that don't have any of the trad wifey skills. You know, they don't know how to keep a home. They don't even want children. They don't need no man. A lot of them dress like pay-to-play women. Where is a woman that you can take seriously? That's what a lot of these guys are asking. And the answer is just not in America. just not in the West, bro. They're abroad. They are elsewhere. And that's what I'm saying, man. Build your value in the West, okay? Because it is the best place in the world to make money. So stack your cash, build your value, become the best version of yourself that you can, then go abroad. Go abroad and find the more feminine women. Because I promise you, there are women with basically the exact opposite of these traits. They're feminine, they want you to lead, they appreciate your masculinity, they don't have an inherent disdain for men, they have all of these wifey skills, they want children. Just go find them somewhere else, man. That is the solution. It's what I'm doing. I know a lot of other guys doing it too. So really, just keep your head up, okay? You can have the future you desire with a good woman and a good family. You just have to put in the work. That's what you have to do. Like the video, subscribe, stay on the path of progress. I'll see you later.